my goodness. And there it is. Wow, get this in to go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Bowl TV for the 2021 PWBA BVL Open taking place at Farmingdale Lanes in Farmingdale, New York. My name is Aaron Smith. I'm excited to be here to join you once again for continued coverage here of the PWBA Tour in 2021. Yesterday, we had 2 rounds, 6 games apiece, 12 games total to determine the top 32 players advancing to our this morning's round. Another 6 games will determine the top 12. Another 6 games after that to determine the stepladder finals for the BVL Open, which will take place tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on bowltv.com. Our competitors are just finishing their warm-up session. We're getting ready to head out to the lanes. But before we do that, let's bring in some members of the Bowl TV team here this week, starting with the one, the only, the Hall of Famer, Emil Williams Jr.
There he goes. There he goes with that stuff again. Which is true. So that's my guy. Good morning, Aaron Smith. Good morning to all watching on Bowl TV, certainly, and Facebook as well. Should be a very good day, Aaron, as you know. Saturday, busy day, but a fun day as we'll whittle our way down to determining the BVL Open champion for 2021. There are a couple of players certainly who have got a very nice head start. We'll talk about that, obviously, here in just a few seconds. But, you know, the lane pattern, we discussed it a lot during Thursday. It came up again, obviously, yesterday, and it certainly showed its ugly head for a lot of players with the lowest cut score. Great work by you talking about, casters round cut scores within the last few years. And certainly this one by far, Aaron, is the lowest one based on your information. Is that correct?
That is correct. It took a 191 average, 191.17 if we're getting technical, to determine the top 32 here. So very technical. Carson Lukosius got the final spot by 1 pin over Abby Ragsdale to advance. So they were tough. The scores kept coming down. But the number we're going to be looking at today is the 12th spot, which coming in is going to be Liz Johnson at plus 16. So when you look at it from 32nd place to 12th, that's only 122 pins. With the scoring pace being so low, if someone who's a little bit farther back can put up some numbers, they can make a run at this.
Absolutely. And it's not over for, several players by a long shot. When we left the broadcast last night, I mentioned just how players within that kind of 9 to 16, maybe to the 20 range still have plenty of time to make some noise and make their way, either stay into the top 12 or make the climb into the top 12.
Of course, and we do have one additional member of the broadcast team to bring in here. So let's bring him in this morning. Curtis Von Kruger, Laneside at Farmingdale Lanes.
Good morning from the island. How are you guys doing?
Good, man.
Excellent. Ready for bowling?
Absolutely. Just kind of getting a feel for things. Looks like players are going to start outside today. Didn't see nearly as many kind of starting into that, 12, 13 range. A lot of people outside of 5 on the high end of the house. So I expect actually saw a couple people starting in urethane, which I thought was interesting. That there were some players, Sarah Germano, a couple of others, found some success pretty early with urethane, and they look to continue that success today as they try to make a charge into that 12th spot. I think they realize they can't be as patient as they were yesterday, just looking for that 1 or 2 big games. If they got to make a move into that top 12, they got to get started early.
Could not agree more. 6 games. It's we've left the marathon. It's now a sprint to make it to that top 12.
The one thing I would be looking for, obviously, today, and I talked about it a little bit, but Curtis just kind of hinted on that risk-reward factor and judging, the risk versus the reward. I think Sarah Germano took the risk last night and got a big reward for it, and now she's got to maybe even not for all, obviously, but a really good blueprint on what could work on this pattern. And I think it's going to be an interesting thought. But again, Curtis, to your point of players starting further right, there's less players now in the field. Can they develop the pattern into something more definable, right? A definable spot, a more defined spot to be played as the block gets further into this afternoon.
Absolutely. I really feel like a lot of the intent, even starting in practice, was to start developing that shot early. Something that, the transition really wrecked a lot of pairs, bowling through yesterday. And that's why you really saw the scores start to drop. As we've limited this field to better shot makers, the more consistent players in general, I think we're going to see a much more developed pattern, maybe some higher scores and more consistent scores throughout the day. But it can still get away from you, as we know, very easily. So we're going to see how these players have kind of taken the knowledge they learned from those first two blocks and kind of adapt and put it to knocking as many down as they can on this cashers round.
Two of the players who found ways to knock a bunch of them down yesterday, Stephanie Zavala and Brianna Klemmer, leading the way here in the early going of the BVL Open. Zavala coming out of the gates plus 200 in the opening block. And then Brianna nearly matching the feed in round two. She went 189 over, and they're sitting 1-2 in the standings right now. Zavala plus 290, Klemmer at plus 225. For those watching on bowltv.com, you can find them on PWBA 1. We've taken a few of the pairs out of play, so just as a heads up for this round. So some of the pairs will just have one pair showing at the moment. As you can see right here, Brown lanes 9 through 12 showing two pairs. So we got still the low end and the high end of the house in play to kick things off this morning. And to kick things off, we are taking a look at a couple players who are right in the mix for the top four, Jordan Richard and Daria Payuk. To the left on lanes 9 and 10, Liz Culkin and Taylor Boltice in 5th and 6th place. Over on 11 and 12, they are joined by Alexis Nair and Kayla Jones.
Good morning to the Bowl TV chat as well, and those watching on Facebook. Also, it's I'm seeing a lot of thoughts about what everyone's eating for breakfast this morning, and needless to say, I'm a little disappointed. Yeah. But to be fair, I did have a cannoli yesterday during a live broadcast. So
that you did,
Aaron. I'm going to start out looking at this pair, right? And we talked about. We'll get to the leaders certainly. But Alexis Nair did not have a good first round, but she stayed the course, made some adjustments, got a little help from her brother, Anthony, who made the drive. Her dad also is here this morning as well, so full family affair here for the Nairs. Andy, dad, brother, Anthony in the building. But I wanted to give her. I said it last night and gave her a lot of credit, but I wanted to back that up this morning with another shout out. It can be very difficult sometimes for a young player to battle and try to come back from a tough round, especially when you see your ball split a lot, which is what she said yesterday. And, had a couple of hiccups late in that block, but her great start, 237, 215, 224, 205. That was her first 4 games last night. Then 168, 193 did just enough. But without that, the start of the block, she would not have even been in contention. And so a lot of credit goes to Alexis here this morning.
Another member of our strong rookie class here in 2021. As you mentioned, minus 147 after the first 6-game block. So battled back, went plus 42 to get to minus 105. To earn the 31st spot here in the field today.
Oh, okay, Daria. Talk about good morning.
2, 4, 8, 10.
That is the way to welcome the Bowl TV viewers and those watching on Facebook.
To follow that, she gets to go to her good lane now where she struck every time. A couple players starting off with the front four here. Jordan Richard and Liz Culkin, who have put together really nice back-to-back events here. Jordan was in the mix at the Queens until the very end of the elimination bracket, and Liz K making the show, finishing third overall. So some momentum from the trip to Reno. For both of those players, Daria, we chronicled her quite a bit during her run at the Queens. Had I guess what you would call a roller coaster experience throughout qualifying. Had a 3-game stretch, not all in a row, but 3 games where she put up 868, including a 299 game with one of the most brutal 8-pins you will ever see. You can find that video on the PWBA social media channels. But for the rest of her block, it was quite a few struggles. So we talked to her a little bit. She talked about she's working on her game in practice. Things are going well. Things are working. Things are doing what she wants. And then all of a sudden, it's time to get going. It just these little things continue to pop up that all of a sudden she's trying to fix during the block. But has been strong through the first 2 rounds here at the BVL Open. Went plus 35 during the first round yesterday, and then plus 77 to get to plus 112, currently sitting in 4th place. We talked about the top 12. That's kind of the number we're looking at to advance to the next round to continue the hopes of making tonight's stepladder finals. Mentioned Zavala at plus 290. Clemmer at plus 225, then a bit of a drop to Jordan Richard in 3rd, plus 171. Daria at plus 112. Liz Culkin at plus 103. Taylor Boltice in 6th, plus 84. Verity Crawley, plus 80. In 7th, Lindsay Boomersheim, plus 50. Summer Jasmine, plus 37. Stephanie Johnson, plus 28. Shannon O'Keefe, plus 26. And then Liz Johnson, the Hall of Famer, plus 16. Your top 12. First player out to start today, Jen Higgins at plus 2. And that's actually the only players plus. So 13 players averaged 200 or better throughout the course of 12 games yesterday. Going back a few more spots. As we mentioned, going all the way to 32nd, that's only 122 pins back of what Liz is at right now at plus 16. But Josie Barnes at minus 9. Julia Bond minus 21. Dasha Kovalova minus 32. Danielle McEwen minus 34. Birgit Norreichs at minus 39. Ashley Galante minus 45. Missy Parkin minus 53. Sandra Gongora minus 55. Laura Plaza's minus 67. Sarah Germano, we talked about her making the big run, switching to urethane yesterday, minus 73. Clara Guerrero minus 78. Taylor Bailey minus 79. Amanda Najokas minus 85. Cara Mangiola minus 87. Maria Jose Rodriguez minus 91. Kelly Kulik minus 97. Kayla Jones, minus 104. Alexis Nair, minus 105. And then Carson Lukosius, minus 106. Those are the 32 players advancing. And their current totals heading into round number 3. As we continue on here in game number 1, for the folks watching on BowlTV.com, You already know the scoop. You're at the right place to be for coverage throughout the course of the day. For the folks watching on Facebook, we certainly do enjoy you stopping by here. We hope you enjoy the opportunity to watch the best athletes on the PWBA Tour. But we will be here for Game 1 only before the feed is sent directly and only to bulltv.com. So a great opportunity to head over there and create your subscription. Get that going to watch the rest of the competition today, including the stepladder finals, to see if Daria can continue to strike just like that and make her way to her first championship round appearance of the season. A few different subscription options if you just want to watch the live coverage for the rest of the day. $8.95 to pick up an event ticket. Or if you're looking long-term, you can pick up a monthly recurring subscription, $9.95, or an annual recurring subscription, $79.95. Transaction fees do apply for those, but are also for the event ticket as well. But with the monthly or the annual, you do get full access to bulltv.com. So not only the live events, but all the archived coverage. You can watch the entire PWBA Tour season. This is the 8th event so far here in 2021. You can also access all the on-demand content. So if you're looking at that monthly and looking ahead, that's going to get you the next 3 PWBA Tour stops as well. The Albany Open, the Greater Nashville Open, and the Louisville Open, all within the next month, right here on bulltv.com.
All right. I'm back in business, Aaron.
Let's go.
Good questions so far here in the chat. And yeah, it's obviously new, of course, regarding having spectators in the building. So, but as we mentioned, and, Aaron has been very good about dropping safety and protocol procedures via PWBA.com. But I would say so far to this point, it's been a great experience having fans back. Fans will be part of the stepladder finals tonight, so it'll be a little different in regards to hearing that fan interaction, hearing the applause. I will say it took me a little bit in Cleveland to get used to. Oh, shoot, we might see a Holston sighting there. Well, now you got to buy your ticket. Oh. I guess now I'm officially back.
Hashtag
Team No A Pin. Good Lord. Don't do Jay Rich like that, especially in the game she's building. Speaking of scoring pace, Aaron, I've got a couple tidbits. Talked to Steve Jacobs from Team Storm 900 Global. And he said there were a few players, as Curtis talked about with his update to start the block. Players are definitely made a concerted effort, the majority, to be further right. Now, within that, there are a couple players who are actually starting with urethane, as Curtis mentioned. He mentioned Sarah, obviously, and what she did yesterday, and trying to start with that today. Maria Jose Rodriguez and Danielle McEwen have both started with urethane this morning. Now, it'd be probably a quick hook on said urethane if it is deemed not to be working or performing the way they need it to. But he said, getting balls to stop, from the outside, there's a lot of players playing right of 5. Kind of goes back to what Chuck was talking about during the practice session about the gutter playing here and hooking. And Steve said, they were having trouble getting balls to stop hooking from the gutter. So they had to find some stuff to kind of slow down, and you need some hold. When, of course, for some players, obviously, urethane will be that hold and allow them to get that extra push, of course. So very intriguing. We may see an overall higher scoring pace, and I'm saying overall because the field of 32, it's a smaller field. as Curtis mentioned, shot makers, some very good bowlers in this field. So the scoring pace as a whole may be a touch better.
Interesting nugget there, Emil. That's a couple players in urethane. We'll see how that, depending on how long they stay in urethane, how much that tricks up those pairs a little bit later in the block.
Yeah, I also think it's safe to say that the leaders are going to do whatever's gotten them here, to this point, right? So, but at the same time, they may encounter some things that they didn't encounter yesterday, i.e., some urethane transition on the lanes.
And you can see where Jordan's at here, and Liz and Daria. They're a little bit farther left than a couple of players here, and we kind of talked about seeing the rev rate, kind of the higher rev rate players having success here in the early going on this 40-foot condition, and they're out there doing their thing.
No doubt. And Jordan doesn't look to be, maybe too much different than what she's been doing yesterday. And it's hard to remember, or I should say, it's easy to forget how Jordan was pretty dominant early in the tournaments until Stephanie Zavala started really doing some incredible things with the bowling ball. Jordan Richard got off to a great start, and obviously they traded the lead every game until Game 6 in round 1. So we cannot forget about Jordan Richard and her propensity to strike a lot. I feel like I'm really on my game this morning, Aaron Smith.
You are.
I need to bottle up what I just said these last couple of tidbits and then save for round 12. Just like Andrew Anderson's walkbacks, just concise, swift, to the point.
That's what it was, 100%.
Oh, man. Terrible break there for Alexis Nair. Obviously not what you want to see in the 10th frame. Again, the cut number, I know Aaron mentioned that, I'm sure, while I was away, minus 106. Same thing goes for Liz Culkin in that sense too, Aaron, as far as, not necessarily forgetting about a player's performance yesterday because of the extraordinary performance by, a couple of players. But Liz Culkin has had a very consistent qualifying 2 blocks, or had a very consistent 2 blocks yesterday, and still has found herself, after all of that, in 5th. So, it's really Stephanie Zavala and Brianna Clemmer who torched them yesterday. Jordan Richard was right there with them. So was Liz Culkin. And Daria Payok seemingly, I won't say she came out of nowhere, but was a very quiet plus 35 and plus 77. But I think, she made a little bit more noise last night. So if you enjoy rev rate, this is your week.
And speaking of rev rate, we're going to bring in Curtis Von Kruger. What's up, Curtis?
Well, if you're talking rev rate, you got Dasha Kovalova right now bringing the heat, throwing a damn good verge, and just playing kind of up 5, pointing a little bit, and shredding the rack. Shoots 260 out the gate. Only bad frame was the 5th frame with an open, but just stringing the strikes together. Looks real comfortable. Kind of a faster release than what she was doing yesterday, kind of trying to stay behind it a little more. And as she said, not get greedy. It's working out for her really well this first game as she's looking to make a move.
Dasha coming in at 16th today at minus 32. So that's going to be a quick swing to the plus 30, plus 40 range.
I like that. Not get greedy.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Got to get out to a quick start if you're in those negative range. And hey, one big game and she's right back in the hunt now, looking to add on that score and put her in a better position to make the top 12 and maybe even make a run at the show.
Well, I'll just say this. As Jordan Richard just finished with 257 to open up this block. That's her highest game on the fresh so far. And Stephanie Zavala shot 208. Obviously, nothing shabby there. She's in obviously a great spot. But, again, I just talked about it with Aaron Curtis, and you give me your thoughts, certainly. But I don't think anyone's dismissing, obviously, Jordan Richard. But I didn't want people to forget how good she was to start the tournament. And then Stephanie Zavala and Brianna Clemmer just kind of stole the show, so to speak. But here comes Jay Rich with an early 257 to say, okay, I'm in a great position, and I'm just going to keep climbing and try to make sure I'm in the top 4.
Yeah, one of those players you don't want to see in your rearview mirror and coming up fast is Jay Rich. I mean, she can put up the numbers. She can strike a lot. And I look at her to continue the success, especially as the transition hits. She's one of those players who, as we've kind of noticed, if you get in early and kind of beat the burnout a little bit on the outside, you're going to find some success. And hey, great start for her today. And watch out, field.
It should be fun. This is going to be. We don't know anything right now. We know absolutely nothing except there's going to be a few players who's going to make a run, and it might even surprise a few people in the building. And I'm very much looking forward to that. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Keep you guys updated.
All right.
Thanks, Curtis. All right, with game 1 in the books, as we mentioned, we're going to send the feed directly to bowltv.com only. So for the folks watching on Facebook, that's the place to head to now. Pick up a subscription to watch the rest of the PWBA BVL Open from Farmingdale Lanes in Farmingdale, New York. So folks on Bowl TV, we'll be right back here for game 2. And folks on Facebook, we hope to see you. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to have, we already have a great Bowl TV chat community as well. They'll welcome you right in, but we're going to head on over to bowltv.com here for game 2. So everybody hang tight. We'll be right back here on Bowl TV. All right, everybody, here we are, game 2 of round 3 here at the PWBA BVL Open. We're going to watch Jordan Richard, Daria Payuk, and Alexis Nair for an additional game here on 11 and 12. Of course, as you know, we have a few additional channels available to watch here in the round of 32. But we'll get our first look today at our top 2 players in the standings, Stephanie Zavala and Brianna Clemmer, along with Carson Lukosius, joining the mix here on 9 and 10.
This will be good here. Brianna Clemmer began with 236, I believe. I mentioned Stephanie Zavala shot 208 if you're scoring at home. We could easily see Jordan Richards shoot 730, Aaron, for the first 3 this morning. and she could easily be in the top 4, or is already there, excuse me. But she could be in the top 2 by the time this round is over, the way her ball reaction is looking currently.
It looked very impressive in game 1. And, we mentioned the 257. That was with a absolutely brutal hashtag Team No 8 pin.
Yes.
In the middle of all that as well. So
that was 20 pins right there. Minimum. At least 11. That was 260 or 270 for sure. Heard some folks mention, I think it was Chris specifically, very happy to see Summer Jasmine make the cut. Indeed. And I talked to Summer, actually. We don't have her. She's down on PWBA 4 at the moment. But talked to her a little bit yesterday, and she went through she's coming off a fit change. I think after the first few weeks, struggling, didn't see success, and made a fit change and worked on some other stuff, and that seemed to be working out, I should say. She also said she saw the picture pretty clear from the practice session, and so she was I would say locked in early, not necessarily kind of on the lanes, but from talking to other players, when they mention if they can see the picture pretty clear early, then they know they don't have to do a lot of guessing, right? There's not a lot of things they didn't have to account for. They see the picture, they know what to do, and they just have to go out and execute. And that's what she was able to do this week so far. I think the only thing that'll stop Jordan so far today will be, a couple shots like that. Sometimes that happens. You'd love not to leave a 310. Meanwhile, Stephanie Zavala. Happy birthday to Stephanie Zavala, by the way.
Yeah, 25.
25 years of age. Can successfully rent a vehicle.
Let's go. I'm just gonna throw it. I'm just gonna throw it out there. The birthday theme has been a thing so far this season. Julia Bond won her first title, I believe, 2 days before her 25th birthday. Liz Johnson walked into the building at Sun Valley Lanes and said, "It'd be pretty cool to win my 25th title before my next birthday," which was Sunday, and that's Saturday. She shoots 300 in the semifinal and wins. It's Stephanie Zavala who has dominated this tournament so far. Potentially going to have some extra games on her birthday. We're hoping for some.
Aaron and those in the chat, the score dash is and has delivered. How about for yourself? Did you get a score dash yet?
I did not, but
okay.
That's why it's an awesome Bowl TV exclusive. You get it here first.
Indeed, it is. All right. So Stephanie Zavala, again with the 208 game, still your leader after one this morning, plus 298. Brianna Clemmer 236. She is up to plus 261 and climbing on Stephanie Zavala. Jordan Richard with the 257 game now at plus 228, still in third place. And then there's the drop off. Liz Culkin is fourth after the 235 game. She shoots, is now at plus 138. Verity Crawley 229 in fifth place, now at plus 109. Daria Payok shoots 181. She is now sixth at plus 93. Taylor Boltice, seventh 203 at plus 87. Shannon O'Keefe shoots 235 now to move into 8th place at plus 61. Dasha Kovalova, as Curtis talked about, 265. That gets her to plus 33 in 9th place. Summer Jasmine is 10th, 195. She's at plus 32. Lindsey Boomershine, 170 to start. She's at plus 20. And Stephanie Johnson right now is 12th. She is the cut at plus 5 after shooting 177. Liz Johnson is 13th at minus 1. Danielle McEwen, 14th at minus 7. Josie Barnes is 15th at minus 20. Julia Bond, 16th at minus 24. Jen Higgins, 17th at minus 26. 18th, Birgit Norwikes is minus 27. Missy Parkin at minus 36 and 19th. Ashley Galante, minus 45 in 20th place. I mean, heck, you can keep on going, man. 21st, Clara is minus 64. Taylor Bailey at minus 87 and 22nd. I mean, those players still have a legitimate shot to make the top 12. I think you gotta go all the way to right now with triple digits, but you can't ever rule out Maria Jose Rodriguez. She's minus 100 with 5 games to go. Maybe she can get there.
Very casually, Stephanie Zavala, front 5.
Yep, she just goes about her business, man. I forgot the phrase already. Hit, post. No, that's not it. Hit, smack, post. No, that's not it. What is it, Aaron?
I think you were actually on top of it there.
Right.
I'll just have to go to pwba.com and find
there it is.
The recap story.
I just put that in Google. Hit, smack, post, PWBA comes right up. That's it. Hit, smack, post. She gave a very nice explanation about that. For those of you who watched the round 1 post-round interview with Stephanie, she mentioned that again. It's like we talked about it in Cleveland after her win. And it wasn't until I was listening to her quotes again to write the story that I said I somehow missed that when she said it the first time, and then I obviously wanted to know what it meant. And I got that explanation yesterday. And she said the hit refers to make sure she doesn't basically miss it at the bottom, right? Hit the shot. She also mentioned a specific Chris, who has been instrumental in her great success back home. The smack portion mentioned she's got a very extended follow-through. And so her follow-through, essentially, her hand ends up in the middle of her back. So she must smack her back, make sure she's good there. And then, of course, post, meaning post the shot. So we all have some kind of, mental focus, mental process that we go through. Clearly, Stephanie is already not only state claim, she should probably put a patent on that and trademark it, because it looks like she's going to have a lot of success as a professional bowler.
A rising star on the PWBA tour.
unfortunately, that the front 5 and then the open frame. I think it's fun for Zavala and Klemmer to be bowling together this round. I'd have to hit Google, Aaron, but maybe you recall excellent shot there. I'll get back to that story in 1 second. But yesterday I just talked about how Stephanie's bowling ball crushes the rack, crushes the 1-3 when it enters. And like it's just obliterates the pins in such a way that, I haven't really seen a lot of on tour. I always say, like, people's bowling balls that enter and just kind of have this serious, of course, it doesn't probably come across on the stream, but it's loud. It is it's New York. People love baseball. I know Chris Pulliam likes baseball. When you hit the barrel on the bat and you line it up perfectly and that thing's going 495 feet, that's how Stephanie Zavala's bowling ball sounds when it enters the 1-3.
It's that voodoo roll, EWJ.
It's very unique, but that's what makes players, right? Obviously themselves, and it's always better to have something that something in your bag that other players cannot repeat or even try. Of course, I forgot the original story that I was going to talk about.
I feel it was about her and Klemmer crossing.
Oh, yes. The overlap potentially of their collegiate careers. I don't recall if they spent a year maybe bowling collegiately at the same time.
It was at least 1 year, maybe 2.
Nice to see Laura Plazas back out. I feel like she bowled Cleveland when I was there, but she made the cut this week in the top 32.
To answer your question, Zavala wrapped up her collegiate career at Sam Houston in 18. So she had 2 seasons competing against Klemmer while at McKendree.
Nice spare there for Daria. I get down to one knee every time I shoot a 3, 6, 9, 10. So, Daria, I feel you on that.
Oh, Carson.
Don't do him like that, Carson. What's that? 2 nice spare conversions on this pair, right?
That's correct. Yeah, we had the 2, 4, 8, and 10 from Daria in game 1, and little 4, 7, 10 action there.
Aaron, will we get a moment? And I'm going to defer to you simply because I've been away for a little bit, so I don't want to mix things up or say the wrong things. But Doris Holder has a great question in the chat regarding what she receives for an annual Bowl TV membership or subscription, excuse me. Membership is way better.
With that full year, the annual subscription, you get full access to bowltv.com. So, if you're watching on an event ticket, very cool way to watch. You get access to the live action while it's happening. So with a monthly or an annual recurring subscription, it unlocks everything available to you on Bowl TV. So obviously you see all the different channels there throughout the course of the navigation. So not only can you watch the live events, you can go into the archived events, which has everything we have broadcasted since 2019 available. So the entire 2019 PWBA Tour season, every stop so far here on 2021. We have the Masters, we have the U.S. Open, Junior Gold from 2019, the Super Senior Classics, Senior Masters, Senior Queens. A little bit of everything is available in the archived events. And then we have on-demand content as well in the lab, the backstage channel, and then the vault. So the lab looks more into the coaching side of things. So we have some great coaching insight available there. The vault is the historical reference. So we're going back into the 70s to the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s. Many of the great shows over the course of the years, a ton of old PWBA content to see some of your favorite competitors with much different 90s hair. Always fun to watch. And then the backstage channel is kind of, the behind the scenes look of kind of everything going on. We got the Journey to 900 in there from the first and second season as well. Very cool, very fun project that involves a bowling robot and striking a bunch and trying to shoot 900. But that's kind of what the full access to the site will get you. So you can do that with the annual or the monthly. That opens up all those events. With the event ticket, however, you're just able to watch the live competition as it's happening and as it's available.
Nice explanation there. And Doris, if you want to learn more information about some of these on-air personalities that we have, was watching Brianna Clemmer's final shot there on the fill. Another great game to start for Bree. I got to make sure she's okay with Bree too. 246, by the way. But Doris, there's a good chance you might see a collegiate broadcast from 2005.
Woo!
You want to laugh.
Woo!
And watch a very young me bowl. You can do that too. Only thing we need now is an Aaron Smith, something or the other, in the vault.
What's it? It's Emil Williams, Chicago. Is it broadcasting or communications? I forget.
Communications.
Communications.
That was pretty fun.
That is in the collegiate section, the 2005 Intercollegiate Team Championships. Lindenwood, LU, taking on Fresno State.
That vault is very good. Obviously, Aaron just described it, but we talk obviously a lot about collegiate bowling, and because a lot of these players have come from the collegiate ranks, and you will see several of them in the vault. Clara, Sandra Gongora, for example, Stephanie Johnson in the vault, for example, as well. So you'll see a lot of familiar faces and names also.
Well, that was a stuff 9, stuff 7 finish there for Stephanie Zavala, but 243. Clemmer, 246. Jordan Richard with one more strike is going to be into the 240s as well. So our top players looking strong here, looking to create some distance between themselves and the rest of the field. It's still got 10 games to go today after this before it's all said and done, but they're starting to leave everybody else in the rearview mirror.
Laura Plazas looks like she's going to be in the 240s. And speaking of that, Jordan Richard has now got herself a ticket to the 240 club with a good count.
So we do wrap up this game. Folks, we got a lot of great sponsors on the PWBA Tour. Another one of those great companies is Viz Sportswear. Be sure to follow them on social media. Hashtag never give up. Hashtag be unique. Viz Sportswear. A proud sponsor of the PWBA Tour And another great apparel company out there to fit all your bowling needs. .244 for Jordan in the books. Folks, I want to let you know something here, because we know you're all dedicated Bull TV fans, and you've probably followed some of the trends that we've been doing the past couple of weeks. So I just want to let you know the giveaway for today is something new, something we haven't done on tour yet this season. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but something new. So let the speculation begin as we get ready for game 3. Do we have any competition wrapping up that we can switch to, Mr. Williams?
Yeah, we do have a PWBA 3 is ready to go. 10th frame for a couple of players with actually several players actually. So that is the ideal landing spot at the moment.
And there we are. Talking about content in the vault, there is a great video from the 1998 Intercollegiate Team Championships featuring Kelly Kulick. She was with Morehead State University. Kelly can get into the 220s here. Taylor Baltai is working on 4 in a row, 3 is 6-10. Oh, Kelly put them all on the deck. She's joined by Verity Crawley and Lindsay Boomershine. Lindsay 170 in game 1, but going to have a late string of strikes. Get into the 200s. 205, the official tally. Verity had 229 to get to plus 109. But looking to salvage a 190 game here. All 3 in the 10th gets her to 199. But her max now drops into the 170s. Some struggles for Liz Culkin. She's going to be in the 170s as well this game. 2 opens up there for the 2-time tour champ. She was in 4th place at plus 138. Baltais, her spare converted, can get to 203. She's in 7th place at plus 87. There is 203. She'll be at plus 90 after this game.
I know you teased that giveaway prize, and I had stepped away for a minute. But I do know what it is. And at some point, Aaron, if you'd like, we could even show it off at some point.
Oh. I like the sound of that. It's a tease of the tease.
Just had a really good, funny conversation with Laura Plaza.
Was it about why she's so mean to the bowling ball at the bottom of her swing?
Not exactly. Just simply asked, how many events she was bowling. She talked about the kind of coordinating things with her Colombian calendar, essentially, other bowling commitments. Um, but there was someone who looks exactly like Laura Plaza's here. So I asked, "Is that your mom or your sister?" And she goes, "No, that's my mom. Everyone thinks that she's me. Everyone keeps coming up to her and asking, like, why aren't you in your bowling gear?"
It's fantastic.
And then they realize, like, oh no, that's their mom. Like they have the Laura has the long braid, of course, going down. Her mom has the exact same look, and so it is really, really something to watch and see. So good to see Laura back. I think we have Curtis was prepared for a. I think we do have Curtis. Curtis, are you there? Curtis.
Hold on. Can you guys hear me?
We can, or I can at least.
Yes, we can.
I think we're having some technical difficulties on my end. I'll get these resolved and then get you guys back with an update.
We can hear you. Just keep talking.
Okay. Well, then I will go. It looks like 247 was a very popular score. You had 3 players on the high end bowl 247: Jen Higgins, Josie Barnes, and Birgit, all bowling 247. There looks like there's a lot of strikes to be had. Dasha Kovalova throws the back 6 to salvage a 226. And then Count Danielle McEwen is one of those players that is switching to urethane, throwing a pitch black at around 4. Had some decent success early in the game and then some struggles. I think bowled a 190. Be interested to see if she stays in that ball. But still have some people trying to make urethane outside work. But the people that are finding success are the higher rev rate players moving in.
All right, Bagan. Thank you very much. And I think I know why that is. I'll tell you about it. So game 3, right, Aaron?
There's game 3 coming up. Current, ongoing.
All right, so game 3. Let me go to the pairing sheet here. Game 3. Let's start with 7 and 8. So on 7 and 8, game 3, we'll have Taylor Bailey, Julia Bond, and Dasha Kovalova. Be a good spot to check out at some point. Also, Clara Guerrero, Danielle McEwen, if you're to get no likes on 9 and 10. 11 and 12, Sarah Germano, Ashley Galante, and Missy Parkin. 13 and 14, Laura Plazas and Sandra Gondora. Of course, that pair just with 2 players only. 15 and 16, Carson Lakotis, Stephanie Zavala, and Brianna Klemmer. 17 and 18, Alexis Nair, Jordan, Daria Payok. Saw a lot of that group today already. And then it's like a Kayla Jones, Liz Polk, and Taylor Boatsice. They've moved on to the high side, along with Verity Crawley, Kelly Kulick, Lindsay Boomershine. All right, so that's what we got, Aaron.
All right.
So you'll see Sandra Gongora on this pair as well, and I had a chance to speak with her a little bit yesterday too. She had just got done on 11 and 12, I believe, but she just looked to be in a much better, or much more comfortable position. And she mentioned she was just kind of working on really simplifying her arsenal. And sometimes, that could be it, where you got a lot of equipment to choose from and you're trying to, make sure you understand all the ball motions and all the numbers and stuff. And she tried to simplify that so she can only just kind of focus on execution. And that's been much better for her this week. And the results clearly have shown it.
Get out of there, 10 pin.
How about that?
Slow roller for Carson. Making it 4 in a row. Savala did not get the lean on the 7 pin, so she's looking at her first spare of the game after an early double. She brings it back.
Aaron, I guess for you that I'm going to send you, and maybe you can do something with this in the broadcast today. Maybe you can't, but you'll know what to do if you can do it.
Is it delicious pastries?
It is not.
I don't know what we're doing here.
It's still cool though. It's
okay.
Let's send you a photo. Let's send you a photo, and if you can make it work, throw it up on the broadcast on the main feed here at some point. I think it'll be cool.
Is it a photo of Laura Plazas and her mom?
It is not, but that also.
I was very intrigued by that after you mentioned it.
And when we were having the conversation, all the social media ideas kind of instantly went in my head. Like, how cool we could take a photo of them together and with a cool caption, etc. All right, that's it. Just a note, 11 and 12 will be underway shortly, as that group now has made their way from the high side to the low side. Every now and then, you get those bowls, right, to where you're wondering, man, what happened? This seems like that period where the first couple of games are in the books. People were excited early to get some strikes popping and see if their adjustments were going to be good and what's going to happen. And now there's that kind of weird lull where players are making their way from each side of the building, and sometimes it's a little slow and all that kind of stuff. To Curtis's point, Danielle is still in urethane. All right, I've got a score update, Aaron.
Hey, I got one too.
Okay. Well, you go ahead.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure now. I wasn't ready for that. I'll do my best, though. Stephanie Zavala continues to lead, plus 341. For 243 last game, so still averaging more than 224 so far through 14 games. Clemmer in second place, plus 307. Jordan Richard, 501 for her first two games. It's at plus 272. So 341, 307, 272, and then a big jump. They have really created some distance here between themselves and the rest of the field. Liz Culkin, plus 117, so about 150 pins from third to fourth. So we may just be bowling for this one spot the rest of the way out here. Daria Payuk in fifth place, plus 91. Taylor Baltice, plus 90. Shannon O'Keefe, plus 81. Verity Crawley in eighth, plus 76. Dasha Kovalova, plus 59. Josie Barnes, plus 27, moves into the top 12. Lindsay Boomershine, plus 25. And then Jen Higgins currently holds the final spot, plus 21 for the top 12. Birgit, after 247 last game, moves to plus 20. She is the first player out, one pin back. Summer Jasmine at plus 16. Liz Johnson, plus 9. Stephanie Johnson, plus 2. Danielle McCune, minus 26. Julia Bond, minus 31. Clara Guerrero, minus 50. And Missy Parkin at minus 55 is your top 20. Looks like we have Curtis coming in for an update as well. Curtis, what you got?
Well, we had alluded to and said in the beginning of the show that the lanes may be playing a little more room, a little easier due to the level of competition coming in, and I think that's really holding up to be true. A lot more strings of strikes on the other end and on this end as well. So I think they did a better job of breaking these lanes down, more consistent lines, not blowing up the pattern early, and I think it's been paying off dividends for the bowlers so far, and I expect that top 12 number to continue to rise at a steady pace, and a lot more strikes today, a lot more six baggers out there. So we'll continue to keep an eye on it and see how the transition hits them probably in this next game, and it'll be a lot of fun to watch.
All right, thanks, Curtis. Excellent report.
Yeah, to Curtis's point, we ended the day last night with the 12th position being plus 16, and that was Liz Johnson. And then after one game this morning, or 13 overall, that number had dipped a little bit to plus 5, and now it is back at plus 21 after a couple. So good work out there, KVK. KVK. I'm sure people got it. I had a question for you, Aaron, when the time comes. There's Zavala again. Carson Lacoste is having some good time as well. So for Stephanie Zavala, it really is about one frame at a time, but keeping it in play, doing what she's been doing. And she's going to find herself, honestly, on the shelf if she continues to do what she's been doing. The question would be, what seed may she be? Because she's got some challengers now in that realm of the number one seed. We know she likes the number one seed, right? Her history has been good to her so far. It's on her side. She's 1-0 in title matches. 1-0 as the number one seed. Yeah, we can go throw out those kind of useless stats, but they are what they are. And for a young rookie to perform like she did in Cleveland, especially as the number one seed against a very, very talented individual, Brianna Cote, with experience in stepladder finals, we know she performed admirably. I don't think the top seed will certainly be a make or break situation for Zavala. If she has the look that she has, if we get to the stepladder finals, and obviously a lot has to happen, she's going to be obviously in a great position to win. Same thing I think can now be said for Brianna. It's still early, but as Aaron mentioned, we very well may be in a position that 3 of the 4 spots may be claimed by the time we get halfway to the top 12 or through the top 12 or the round of 12, excuse me. We got a lot of suitors if that's the case for that last spot. To give a shout out to all of the non-members who advanced to the top 32 today. Unfortunately, it looks like Sarah Germano may have had to drop out or withdraw. She was on the pair with in the cross with Ashley Galante and Missy Parkin. They are now just bowling with those 2 players. But Sarah did advance, as did Amanda Najokis, Kayla Jones. By the way, Kayla Jones, head coach at come on. Come on. Hold on. I'm going to get there. At LIU, Long Island University. She did bowl collegiately at Kutztown. So that's pretty cool for not only Kayla, certainly, but for the program. That's a good recruiting tool.
It's not a bad one.
If your coach can perform well in a professional event, and I'm not sure how many events Kayla gets to bowl, but that would say a lot. It would pique my interest, certainly, as a potential recruit.
You know what's piquing my interest right now?
Uh-oh.
Emil Williams Jr.
What is that?
That photo you sent me.
Did you get it?
Let's see if this works. Bottom left-hand corner of your screen. It's like a giveaway, except even better. There it is, the BVL Open Trophy. Going to the champion later tonight here on Bowl TV. So thanks for the picture, Emil. We kind of talked about that the other day. We do see the bowling ball up there as well. Very cool stuff. Good question in the chat by Hosan. How heavy is that bad boy?
I don't know. I did not pick it up. Joe Laspina was looking for a place to put it this morning. And, he just was settled on a table to the right of where we are. But it gave me a good photo opportunity. So, I mean, minimum, right? Well, I'm assuming that ball is 15 pounds. It very well may not be. I would hope not, now that I say that. Maybe it's just like a 10, 12 pound. I will attempt to pick it up and give you my best guess on that, hopefully.
$213 for Clemmer in the books. Nice $247 for Carson Lukosius. And Zavala, there she is, 10th frame. Chance to be in the 250s. Phil, we've said that a few times. I mean, I was really impressed when we talked to her yesterday, Emil. Just kind of that feeling of knowing she can hang out here on the PWBA tour, that she can compete, and how much that confidence has shown in these past couple of weeks after having that great run at Cleveland. Her first two events, it took a minute to kind of get comfortable, get familiar with tour life and being out there and competing and the conditions and everything. And it's just been wow since then. Just absolute wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's about how I felt after talking to her at Cleveland. The moment really was not too big for her, which, sometimes is a rarity with young players, especially rookies, in their first stepladder finals, the top seed. So, a lot of expectations, obviously. And sometimes you just anticipate, like, if a young rook is out there, like, maybe it's going to go to the experienced player. And then she split in, I believe it was the second or third frame, which could have been the early turning point, where the experienced player would use that, obviously, to that advantage, right? They only need one break, from that opponent, especially a rookie, to kind of take control. But she just settled down and threw 5 more strikes. And ultimately, it came down to the 10th frame and a missed spare from Brianna. And, Stephanie she still had to perform in the 10th frame to win. So throughout the entire game, there were various moments to where, it could have gone the other way, and she did not allow that to happen. And then one of the biggest things there was, she said, if this would have happened last year, right? Same thing happened. She splits. It would have gone the other way. She would not have been mentally or as mentally prepared or as mentally focused, as mentally strong to be able to withstand not only what her opponent was doing, but what her own mind would have done against her. And as we all know in this game, most of the time it's the battle against ourselves and not the opponent.
Excellent rundown there, Mr. Williams. We're heading over to PWBA 2, lanes 9 through 12. For the conclusion of game number 3, Clara Guerrero, Birgit Norreichs, Danielle McEwen, Ashley Galante, and Missy Parkin.
I've been watching these two pairs a little bit, Aaron, and Danielle got a really late messenger on lane 10 to keep a good string going here. And it was just like that, actually. But, of course, the pin fell for DMAC and did not hit the 10 pin there for Birgit. 9 and 10 is not the step ladder finals pair, by the way. So maybe we'll see messengers like that on 11 and 12. Maybe we won't.
Curtis mentioned she was playing that outside line with urethane. Still is definitely outside. Didn't see a ton of down lane motion there, so thinking still urethane there for her.
She is 100% throwing urethane, speaking of Danielle. That does look to still be a pitch black. I mentioned this in the chat earlier. I saw a few people respond to it, and it's not to this is not to create any level of argument. I just have a serious question about what is the majority dislike essentially of urethane as equipment choice. Because I know it just depends on who you talk to. It's a love it or hate it kind of thing. It seems like. I am aware that what it can do certainly to a lane. I do understand that. To me, it's just part of the game. I mean, if it's available to use, then you gotta, do what you gotta do to either use it, or if it's hindering you in some situations as far as your own lane or ball motion, then we have to figure out an alternative. I know I make it sound so simple and easy. I know it's not, but I'm just curious. For the record, I do not own one, but once I get back into it, I certainly would like to have one to experiment with. Four more 247 games, Aaron Smith.
Wow. Popular number.
Yeah, according to Curtis Von Kruger.
I believe Stephanie had one of them.
One from Carson, right?
Oh, it's Carson, yeah.
And then one here that was on our side, and then on the high side of the building, there were 3 additional 247 games. Unsure of the players involved.
How about this late run here for Missy Parkin? 4 in a row now. She has 239 out there. She's at minus 55, so she's one of those players still hanging around here. And if she gets into the 230s here, she'll be, or high 230s, almost 240. She's going to be right around the minus 15 range. Missy fresh off a runner-up finish at the Queens. Got the last few to mix up. Can she get one more? Resounding yes from Missy and the state of California.
Always so tranquil and peaceful when I look at a Missy Parkin jersey. I just instantly want to book a trip immediately. Classic urethane reaction there.
These are the first real shots I've gotten to see Danielle. Obviously, it's a little different being on site here in Arlington versus being in Farmingdale Lanes there. But has that been there the whole week? That was phenomenal.
It's hard to say that the answer would be no, to be perfectly honest with you. But I don't recall seeing anyone. And again, we were limited on practice as far as seeing all of the lanes and all the players try different things. Did not see it again until Curtis talked about it last night when Sarah Germano made the switch to it late in the round in Game 3 specifically and had the front knot. And I think Sarah opened up the door, if you will, to this could work for obviously the right person. You got to be able to execute, etc. And I think DMAC is going to try a reactive ball here on the fill.
She was just on the outside looking in, minus 26. She's going to get to that plus 40 range here in the 260s.
Now, Aaron, let's not forget now who is throwing the bowling ball.
I agree. But still, that was.
Oh, no,
I really like the ball reaction out there. That was
what
I know that's not a thing we see a ton on tour, but still.
I'm simply saying not everyone can do it the way DMAC can, right? It may be out there, but sometimes it's only one or two people that can make it look like, how it should look. She's one of them, but I do believe that thing is out there, man.
Well, I mean, that gets back to your point about urethane in general, and some people like it, some people don't, and rev rate is a big part of why a lot of folks can't use that or don't use that is because you're not seeing the type of change you see some of the higher rev players have in that situation, and I wouldn't necessarily put Danielle in the higher rev portion of the tour, but she knows how to use it the correct way, and that's an additional thing about urethane was that if you think it's just okay, it's going to blend out the pattern, it's going to give me a clear path to the pocket. If you're using it the correct way, then yes. But I think a lot of the disdain towards it, if you will, is not everybody knows how to use it in the right times in the right places. But a player of Danielle's caliber, of course, is going to be able to get that ball to shape in the right part of the lane, make it read early, get it to set up in the right portion to just demolish the pins like we've seen it do there those past couple shots.
Yeah, I will say I'm trying to scroll up, and Scott Bender mentioned it. Not a fan certainly, but he did say destroys the pattern, favors higher rev rates, which I would agree with. I would agree. If someone does not understand how urethane should work, maybe best times to use it. And I guess especially maybe in tournament type settings. I know, and I see a lot of posts about people throwing urethane in league and along with bowling balls that may be at 500 grit, which, yes, certainly can be obviously frustrating, especially in a league setting sometimes where you don't expect certain things like that. Sometimes in tournament type settings, it just depends on where you are, who you're with, who you're bowling with. The mindsets sometimes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Score dash.
Oh, that wasn't for me. Okay.
Oh, but thank you anyway. Someone mentioned, we'll get to scores obviously in just 1 second. James just had a question about how many balls the players have with them behind the lanes. And I saw someone else ask earlier, it might have been Doris, about traveling. They travel with the bowling balls, driving, et cetera, et cetera. And it's hard to say, honestly, James. I think it's fair to say most players probably bring two totes out with them, 2-3 ball totes. And the rest will remain in the locker room, really for multiple reasons. One, you don't want too much equipment out in the area. Now, there haven't been fans, right? So you have to realize that so the players it could have more equipment out on the concourse than they normally would because there are no fans, because you have to be wary of spectators obviously being in the way and tripping and those kind of things. But bowling balls generally are always in the bowler's area, whatever that area is designated to be. Then secondly, regarding travel, players do utilize the player services truck to transport their equipment stop to stop. Now, I don't know the limits this year because I haven't been out that much, but sometimes it's somewhere between maybe 7, 8 to 10 bowling balls that they can transport. And then, some that like to drive, obviously, and they take their own stuff. They can still drive and still transport stuff. They can fly and still transport stuff. So I think that is one of the essential features of being a professional is having that ability to transport equipment. Let me know if that answers that for you, Doris. Be happy to go into it a little bit. Okay. Your standings after 15 games, that includes 3 today. It's still a 3-player race for the top seed right now, Aaron Smith. Stephanie Zavala, your leader at plus 388. She is 98 over on the day. For Brianna Clemmer, second at plus 320. She is 95 over on the day. And, of course, Jordan Richard. I said she could shoot 730. Didn't I say that, Aaron?
You said it loud and clear here on Bold TV.
And 739
let's go.
Is the exact number. She is now at plus 310. Plus 310. 78 pins back of the top seed at the moment. Liz Culkin, fourth, and again the drop-off at plus 129. Shannon O'Keefe, the 2-time reigning player of the year, fifth at plus 128. Sixth is Verity Crawley at plus 89. She shot 213, by the way. And Shannon O'Keefe, 702 for the first 3 this morning. I believe she was a little further right than she started the last 2 rounds as well. Taylor Boltice, 7th at plus 82. Daria Payok, 8th at plus 75. Lindsay Boomershine, 9th at plus 72. Josie Barnes, 10th at plus 64. Summer Jasmine hanging in there at 11th at plus 50. And Birgit Norweit now is 12th. Strong start, 681 for the first 3 at plus 49. Or excuse me, plus 42. And speaking of Danielle McEwen, that 265 game now has moved her to 13th at plus 39. Dasha Kovalova, 14th at plus 20. Stephanie Johnson is 15th at plus 16. Jen Higgins, 16th at minus 7. Liz Johnson is 17th, still hanging tough at minus 8. You know, Missy Parkin, we just saw her shoot 239. She's 18th at minus 16. Julia Bond, most recent Queen's champion, of course, and a 2-time winner already this season at minus 20 and 19th place. And still in decent position here is Clara Guerrero, 20th at minus 38. And then from there, Aaron, there is a significant drop-off again where Kelly Kulik sits in 21st at minus 80.
Isn't bowling such a fun and interesting sport? After yesterday, we were talking about 190s and 2-0s being good and getting you to this round. And now it feels like if you want to make the top 12, if you're not putting up 220 every game, you're losing pace here.
Yeah, when I talked to Steve this morning, and he mentioned the urethane usage, from players like Maria and Danielle, for example, and then Curtis echoed that. But I also asked him, did he expect the scoring pace to go up considering the caliber of bowler that are now in the top 32? And, of course, the field is smaller overall. And he said it should go up a little bit. And that's definitely been true. Of course, I think we expected the leaders to continue on the strike train that they've already been on. But we've seen, the players who may have had the struggles, they've benefited the most from making the change, it looks like, from starting a little further right.
as we settle into game number 4 here in round 3 at the PWBA BVL Open. Folks, we got a lot of great sponsors here on the PWBA Tour. One of our longtime apparel partners, I Am Bowling, Logo Infusion's newest bowling apparel brand, a part of the PWBA Tour here in 2021. Be sure to visit them to pick up your jersey and apparel at iambowling.com.
I'll make one last point, and I'm just referencing the chat with what Scott is dropping in there, and that's a great point regarding that urethane, Scott. Shannon Puhalski does that often, in which, and if you haven't seen the chat, take a look at it. But they may have he referenced the PBA Tour and players having maybe 2 to 3, as an example, urethane balls, to where they're drilled the same, and as he mentioned, when one starts to kind of labor down lane, they just make the switch to the fresh one basically and hope to continue on the success. And that's what Shannon Puhalski does a lot. In Cleveland, I think she had 3 purple hammers, and when one started to go a little bit, she went to the next one, and so forth and so on.
Emil, I'd be curious if Curtis was around right now. We talked about, kind of hitting that transition point, and it appears that's kind of happened here. 9, 10, and 11, and 12. We are seeing some early struggles here in game 4.
Well, you expect it to happen at some point. Whether or not that sounds better. Is that the point? Probably. This could be an opportunity for somebody, though.
The dreaded 7-10. It's been rearing its ugly head all week here. Catches Jen Higgins there in the 4th.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's going to cost someone potentially in the stepladder finals. We've just seen way too many this week. You got to look out for a ball change from Taylor Bailey coming up here. Got a piece of their conversation with Chuck Garner. Just for Taylor, that the ball she was throwing was just a little bit too early. I'm unsure what ball she was throwing. And I'm also unsure of what she's switching to. So I guess that really piece of information doesn't help anyone.
Well, it does help.
Except to know that if she strikes.
It was due to ball change.
Or if she doesn't. Still probably due to ball change. But sometimes you need a shot, right? You need one shot when you do make a ball change. And, well, washout, makeable.
It's also not what you want to see on a ball change, though. I mean, you hope the guest is a little bit closer, unless it was just a bad shot on her part. That certainly is in the mix as well. But
Aaron, I'm trying to think back here, and we spent a lot of time, obviously, on the 2019 tour together. And maybe it wasn't 2019, so just help me remember. But I recall Shannon O'Keefe making a show as a lower seed and kind of climbing the ladder against a few young players, or maybe they weren't young players, but a couple players made some mistakes on the way, and she kind of found herself. I feel like it was, man, what?
I know exactly what tournament that was, Emil.
Does this sound familiar at all?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I 100% know what tournament you're talking about. You're talking about the 2018 Greater Harrisburg Open.
Okay. She did not win, obviously. That was the Jordan Richards' first title.
But she got two gifts, courtesy of Brianna Cote and Lindsay Boomershine, in those first few matches to advance to the finals. And then that was Jordan's first win, and she definitely had the best look that week and the best look in the finals, and ended up collecting the victory. But yeah, Shannon certainly benefited from some miscues from her opponents in that one.
Now, what I don't recall, because I was not there, was Shannon's kind of road to make the step ladder, right? Was it because in my mind right now, she's fifth, a pin out of the number at this point. I'm not talking about the top 12. I'm talking about the top 4 for those following along in this conversation. And she was, around the +3, right, all yesterday, -1, -10. But still, as I was saying yesterday, in that good position where she could strike and not strike physically, but, kind of pounce, if you will, Bearcats, right?
Nice.
And make that run to the top 4. And obviously, here it is. Like, we're there now. And I'm looking ahead like, okay, well, if she makes the show, we were doing hypotheticals. And let's say she has Zavala, Clemmer, and Richard, right?
Mm-hmm.
3 young players, 2 now with wins. Of course, 1, her former player. Just looking at the hypotheticals, but I was trying to think about a scenario of which Shannon had to kind of work extremely hard to get into the top 4. Not a situation where she's in the lead or near the lead for the majority of the tournament, like certainly she has been for, much of 2019, for example. So that's what drew me to that thought process.
And that particular tournament was one where it wasn't. It certainly wasn't a walk into the step ladder finals for her. She entered the round of 12 in 5th place, just a couple pins back of the show, and didn't do anything spectacular in that final round. They were fairly tough. Went 18 over for the block to hold on to the final spot. 180 that final game to hang on. Ended up being 8. She was 8 pins ahead of Liz Culkin for that final spot, but yeah, something where it was certainly no walk in the park to get there. So she continued to grind out game after game and worked her way there. And then it was some tough sledding in those first 2 stepladder final matches. But her opponents had the opportunity both times to step up and shut out, and neither were able to do so.
Well, Taylor has found the right ball, it looks like. Like she made another change. That shot was excellent. Doris with the question about Daria to Dasha. I know, I want to say like 2017, maybe 2018. But then that's just from the tour perspective. But her Wichita State teammates always referred to her as Dasha. And so she told me a story about that, and I don't recall. But it's pretty much been Dasha, I would say, since her collegiate days. But when she did bowl like a tour event, and she wasn't a regular yet, we still only kind of knew her as Daria until one day I think I asked her which one she preferred, and then she said Dasha, and at the time it was like, okay, she said Dasha, but the name on her jersey still says Daria. So which one is correct? But it's been Dasha for a few years.
Mm-hmm. And it was nice of her because we have a Daria on tour as well, so now we can distinguish by first name only.
It does help.
It's a similar situation to if your name is Emil Williams Jr. and then you have your first son and you name him Emil Williams as well. But you guys call him Trey.
We do.
That's how I know.
We do. When he gets older, kind of like I did, because I got to a point where I was like, I don't want to be called Little Emil anymore. Just call me something else. So actually, my entire family calls me Tony. My middle name is Anthony, and that's just, I was looking for something, to kind of be me, so to speak. And so my entire family to this day calls me Tony from, I don't know, 8, 9 when I said that, probably. Then I got to a point I was, all right, I like my first name. And I'm gonna talk about it proudly. So the rest of the world knows me as Emil.
Big fan of the name, by the way.
Thank you. Me too. I have to thank my dad. My wife wouldn't allow me to name our second son Emil, so we really went full George Foreman.
Well, I mean, when you get into the brevity of things, Trey is cool, is a pretty cool, nickname in that situation. Ford, you get into the quad switch situation, and that's quad or four. Doesn't have quite the same ring to it as Trey.
No, we would have made it work though. Come up with another nickname for him. Could have just been Four. That would have been his name.
We call him Four.
Enzo is really cool. So I'm actually glad we did outrule me. Curtis is nearby, Aaron, and I know he's going to jump on here after this game. So to touch on that transition point you mentioned earlier.
We have not seen a lot of traction on these pairs.
No.
Daria, wow, that whole conversation got me to say Daria. Dasha had the 5-bagger after the 2 early splits. But that's been about it. Some tough sledding here on PWBA 2.
So Dasha's in a situation where he talked about the 230s out there, and she is 14th at plus 20. Excellent shot there.
Pointing to the fans. I like it.
Love the points. Oh. I think I had I'm going to finish off the naming story. I just thought of this. When I was in college, I remember I had a good relationship with my financial aid counselor. And really, my mom had a great relationship with my financial aid counselor, right? Because they talked often. One day, I saw the counselor on campus, just walking, right? And she goes, "Hey, Tony, how's everything going?" And I was like, first it was like a hesitation. I'm like, huh? It's, because when I hear it, I kind of like stop and think, is someone talking to me? But no one knows me as that, right? This is me on campus. And then there was my financial aid counselor. And I'm like, did you talk to my mom today? And she goes, absolutely, I did.
See, I just naturally assume that at all points when I hear someone say Aaron, get out of there, 10 pin, that they are actually trying to talk to someone else. So,
Oh my goodness. Yeah, because you're not tripping a lot of tens, right? I mean, now that 4.57, you're gonna work that thing out.
there's a rarity this year in my bowling league setting. My 57 games this year, E. It's a head start I got.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
Say it.
oh.
Get out of there, 10.
We needed that 9 pin to fall. It was
That-
going to be an epic run of trips.
That was horrible. See, that's the kind of stuff, man. Right? Dosh is trying to get to 230, right? At least 220 with that hit. And now, essentially, she's subject to a game of the two teens, barring she makes a spare. And those are the kind of breaks that you need to go your way when you got 2 games left to make the next cut. So I'm sure everyone has got a few channels up and paying attention to what's going on. But Danielle is still in a pretty solid spot. Just one double, although through the first 7 or 8 frames, excuse me, on 13 and 14.
Chen gets the hit to kick off the 10th. 205 still out there. Julia Bond filling frames. If she can find a way to double here, she's going to be in the 220s.
And it's not over at all for Jen Higgins.
Come on, 7 pin.
I've been talking about her all weekend because she was in the top 5 and I would say top 8 for a very long time. And in fact, I'm now going to go back to all my standing sheets. I'm so curious. Tied for 10th after game 2. As high as 3rd in after game 3. I mean, this is early, or yesterday I'm talking about, obviously. 6th after 4, 5th after 5, 11th after 6, 5th after 7, which is Jen Higgins, by the way, 8th after 8 games, 9th after 9 games. I'm not making this up, by the way. Tied for 11th after 10. 13th after 11 today. I'm sorry, yesterday. I have to go to 12, but clearly you get the point I'm trying to make here. She's been in great position all weekend.
Finishes that game with 204. She'll be at -3 with 2 left to go. 206 for Julia Bond. -14. Really curious about the scoring pace across the house here. Kovalova gets to plus 35. Let's see if it kind of slowed down. We were, that number was picking up 10 pins every game, it felt like, there in the middle of this block. And we'll take a quick look at PWBA 3 before we transition to Game 5.
Don't forget, folks, obviously, this is the BVL Open and the Bowlers to Veterans link. Donate at bvl.org or bowl.com/BVL.
Not a lot of scores up on this pair either, Emil.
Not at all. And that 181, as you can see the scoreboard slightly cut off there. Will make that change for you here after this game. But you see Birgit, obviously, as many mentioned in the chat, having some trouble. And Danielle McEwen is letter B. So she's the bottom score on the left-hand side of your screen.
Yeah, Birgit was the number heading into this game at plus 42. She's going to drop to minus after 151. Josie Barnes was in 10th place. She did not shoot over 200 that game. Ring 10 there for DMAC. She can still get to 2-0 here. Currently at plus 39. She was the first player out of the top 12. Heading into Game 4.
Looks like this pair is going to be the last one done before Game 5. Game 5 already underway on PWBA 1 and 2. And 4, for that matter.
Where do you want to head to next, Mr. Williams?
Well, we've talked about, I was just talking about Shannon, of course. O'Keefe, that is. So let's get a look at Shannon O'Keefe on PWBA 2.
PWBA 2. All right. Final shot here for Danielle. We'll make that switch. 201. She'll be at plus 40. And there we are back to lanes 9, 10, 11, and 12. For game number 5 here at the 2021 PWBA BVL Open. Another great sponsor here on the PWBA Tour is Master. For over 50 years, Master Industries has been recognized worldwide as the leading manufacturer of premium, high-performance bowling products. So a big thank you to Master for their continued support of the PWBA Tour. So we got Shannon, we got Liz Johnson. Taking another look at on 11 and 12 after watching them a bit last game. Amanda Najokas, Josie Barnes, and Jen Higgins. Then Kara Mangiola. Talked to Kara about the roller coaster that was qualifying day number 1 at the BVL Open. Shot a big final game to secure her spot here in the top 32. Another rookie out here this season on tour. Made a couple appearances as a non-member in 2019. Was ready to kick off the 2020 season. Before the cancellation due to COVID-19, but coming on strong here in 2021, has had some nice performances already in the books and making another cut here this week on Long Island. Oh, Emil had stepped away for a moment, folks, so he did not get to see that. Or maybe he did. Downright mean. Stuff 8 for O'Keefe. In frame number 3. We do have an update on scores available online. Stephanie Zavala continues to lead, plus 383. But the scoring pace for the top 3 players slowed down a little bit here in Game 4. Zavala, Klemmer, and Jordan Richard all shooting under 200. So allowing some folks to catch up just a touch. Zavala at plus 383, Klemmer at plus 307, Jordan Richard at plus 279. And Shannon O'Keefe moves into the top 4 after rolling 234 last game. She's at plus 162 now. And has a 38 pin advantage over 5th place Liz Culkin, plus 124. Verity in 6th, plus 115. Daria at plus 100. Lindsay Boomersheim, plus 97. Taylor Boltice, plus 85. Josie Barnes holds on to 10th at plus 55. And now a tie for 11th and 12th, plus 40. Oh, we had a little shakeup there in the plus-minus range. So right now, plus 40, 2 players at plus 40, Danielle and Summer for 11th and 12th. Dasha is the first player out at plus 35, 5 pins back. And then a pretty sizable drop to 14th place. Jen Higgins at minus 3, Birgetz at minus 7, Liz Johnson and Julia Bond at minus 14, Stephanie Johnson minus 15, and Missy Parkin at minus 23. So it's time to see if a couple strikes from those players outside the cut here with 2 left to go. But plus 40, your new number.
Did I miss the scores?
You did. We just ran through them.
Okay, because I see DoorDash my delivery at my door. Or in this case, on the keyboard. And based on the comment from Jillian Tracy, I assume that Shannon O'Keefe had made her way into the top 4, and she did.
And Emil, your break was well timed because you missed a devastating stone 8 from Shannon as well throughout the start of this game here.
Just to report, Aaron, that Danielle is still in urethane. And she has started with a double down on 15 and 16. The question will then become, is it which one's more exciting? And there may not be a right answer because both answers I think may be correct. Is it more exciting to have multiple players fighting for one spot or all the spots?
It's a fair question. It's fun when it's just a couple because it's almost like a head-to-head match that you're keeping track of, but certainly do enjoy the craziness and randomness when it's 6, 7, 8 people all fighting for 2 or 3 spots.
Yeah, I think it makes the job a little bit harder for us when everything is up for grabs because there's a lot to keep track of. But I feel like the excitement level should be about the same or more because, I mean, theoretically, you know, in 6 games, maybe plus 40, and I'm just taking the scores as they are right now. Maybe plus 40 could be difficult to overcome, you know, to get to plus 160 in a few games, obviously, right? But, I mean, you know, Shannon, Liz, Verity, Daria, Lindsay Boomersheim, Boltice, Barnes, McEwen, Jasmine. Hey, like literally 4 through 12 could be vying for the 4th spot.
I did see a comment in the Bull TV chat, Emil, that folks are still thought that 10 pin was going to get out there. Thinking about that giveaway that we we had talked about. We said this is the first time this season we've given one of these away. So we are going to we're going to bring in the screen here in just a second.
Well, let me get my my display skills.
Your orientation correct?
Yes.
All right. So the giveaway coming up here on Bowl TV. We're going to exit full screen for just a second. Emil has it. There we go. A PWBA Bull Fearless Visiball. So fits in your hand, bowling ball. Very cool. Got the new design for this year. Great job by Kelly for putting that together. Bull Fearless Visiball. And you know what? We're going to have it signed for you as well. Oh, get lined up, E. Get lined up. So that will be the giveaway, and we're going to have it signed by the round 3 leader, overall leader. So it's looking like someone's going to be potentially taking home a signed Visiball by Stephanie Zavala. How about that?
Let me give you one more good look at it for those who may have missed it. Obviously, PWBA and a nice color scheme here, and then, as Aaron mentioned, the kind of the new branding. Of course, Bowl Fearless has been part of the tour for a few years, but the new design kind of around it.
It's a sharp-looking ball right there.
And then you get me kind of, just trying to get my shoulders right, drop the shoulder a little bit. I think I'm ready to go.
Next week, you're subbing in Albany.
Yeah, you put that out there now. Someone's going to email me and send me a Facebook message like, hey, we got a spot for you.
Seems to be popular in the Bowl TV chat. So popular, I'm even getting text messages about it.
Oh, okay.
How about that?
It is a nice. Someone mentioned Ken Cash was like, "Hey, Ken, by the way." There could be trouble there, Aaron. I saw Shannon look down with the kind of that WTF. Looks like she fouled.
What the foul?
Yeah. Wonder when's the last time she fouled. But to my point, yes, I think that would be a great office item. For those of you who, of course, the majority of folks, I'm sure, in some capacity have been working remotely and Microsoft Teaming and Zooming and Skyping and Wirecasting and everything else virtual remote production. So if you got like a bookcase that you've put in your nice background, that would be perfect in that area.
No problem on the spare there for Shannon. Don chiming in 1998, last time she fouled.
Wow. Now, was that a foul ball, Don? Is that what happened here? A former softball All-American, All-Conference. Josie Barnes. Josie's got the family here this week as well. Her husband Kyle and her daughter Lisa Ruth. And I think they were at the Queens.
That's correct. Yep.
Uh-oh. We got conflicting stories about the last time Shannon fouled in the chat. I'm assuming that's Brian under the Shannon moniker.
Brian O'Keefe, my man. He's got our guy now on his team. He's got Mitch Trubisky backing up Josh Allen. He's living the dream right now.
That is a dream. See, the Jokic is bowling ball probably a touch right, flirting with the channel, but you can just didn't quite get up the hill. Of course, I think when she doubled this game, I think she said that might have been her first double of the day.
Oh.
Aaron, it looks like just across this side, the strings have kind of picked up, right? I think players have figured out what they either needed to switch to from an equipment perspective or the on-lane perspective. But seeing way more strikes across this side of the building at least, as opposed to what we saw last game, where we were kind of thinking transition was certainly in play.
Yeah, it looks like scoring pace is kind of settled in a little bit here. Nothing too crazy, but going to have quite a few scores on the with a 2 as the first number, which is a good thing.
One of those players, again, Jen Higgins, with 228 out there at -3 currently, with now a game or essentially 12 frames left in this round. Very good shots. It's almost as if, Aaron, when you get to events that have match play, right, like the Queens, you always talk about it's two kind of separate tournaments. Generally speaking, when you get to a match play portion, it feels like a different type of event, right? But if you look at the standings, you could almost say that Stephanie, Brianna, and Jordan have been bowling in their own tournament, right? You almost can't even include them in anything else. And then you have to go from like Shannon at this point, of course, in fourth and down, because someone like Jen Higgins, who I just talked about and where she's been at throughout the in the standings throughout the rounds, has been bowling pretty good overall. It's just when you look at it in comparison to the leaders, it doesn't look as good.
That's a good point. I like the comparison there. It's it's been Stephanie, Brianna, and Jordan just kind of been away from everybody else for pretty much even to start today. Jordan was a little bit farther behind those two, but she still had basically 60 pins to fourth place at that time, and they have not felt any press just yet from the rest of the field. But once you get into the step ladder final, 1-game matches, anything can happen. And what's going to happen right now is an update from our man, Curtis Von Kruger. Curtis, take it away.
Absolutely. The scoring pace has started to slow down a little bit here over the last couple of games. Looks like that free push they had early has kind of gone away, and the natural lane surface kind of taken over, and it's causing some troubles, especially, compared to the first 3 games. And so things have slowed down. I expect that to continue here going into the last game. So got to stay patient here and try not to force it. But we'll look to see how this plays out. But, definitely slowing down. And they aren't crushing them like they were early.
Curtis? Actually, no. Hold on. One more. Can you still hear me?
Absolutely.
Have you seen any additional sightings? I should say, of urethane.
Additional sightings?
Yes, sightings of urethane going down the lane from.
No, I haven't seen urethane. I saw Danielle was still maybe using it earlier. At least I saw that.
Still in it. Yep, she's still
in it. I know Maria Jose Rodriguez was still in it, but I think she might have switched out of it now. But everybody's kind of out of the urethane. Verity Crawley's probably the deepest end, really kind of shaping it a lot. Playing inside 20, really getting it out and making the corner pretty hard. But everybody else is right in that 15 to 18 range right now, standing a little left of 20. And so definitely still think the high rev rate players are tipping the advantage here a little bit. And I think we'll see that with some scoring here in the last game.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. As mentioned in the chat too, Aaron, Dasha is working on 279. That is true and can certainly be confirmed. So Dasha, his name is in the hat. This is going to be a very good final game here. Last item I've noticed about Shannon here, and I think she's going to make a ball change on the field, but it looked like she was throwing a ball that she had a lot of success with previously. It looked like a Rodman Pearl. I could have been wrong, but that's what it looked like. And you look at this game. Now she threw it again. Okay. But if you look at this game, right? How many 180 plus games have you shot like this, Aaron? And everyone chat.
Oh, I mean, a clean 180 is
with
all sorts of things, but yeah, you generally see that with a couple 7 counts in there, an 8 count or 2, maybe a 6 count. Pick up a bucket or a washout, but usually with all 9 counts, minus that one little F up there. The foul in frame 7. Yeah, you don't see that type of clean 188 too often. Game 5 in the books. Emil, we got some action going on to catch.
Dasha just finished up, but the PWBA 3, is still going. Julia Bond actually is finishing up. Catch JB, as well as we've got a 15 and 16 still have the entire 10th frame to go. So PWBA 3. The other interesting thing is the high side must get done very quickly because they all came over to the low side waiting pretty early. So it looks like we'll be probably done the quickest here as far as the low side and competition is concerned. Probably still be some folks bowling on the high side when this side is complete. In regards to the cut number.
See the final score there for Dasha, 268. She was the first player out at plus 35, so she's going to skyrocket to plus 103. Julia Bond is going to get plus there with 221. Birgit's going to get to the right side of plus as well. She can get to 246 after starting with the front 5. She was at minus 7. So business is certainly picking up. For that 12th spot and not going to get the 10 out. $235 would get her to plus 28. And folks, we showed off that brand new, first time seen on Bowl TV, Visiball, Bowl Fearless style. Once we finish this up and settle into game number 6, we'll start that giveaway. So be on the lookout. We'll give you the heads up right before we launch it live, but that's coming up next here on BowlTV.com. One lucky winner going to be taking it home.
Will it be you, Aaron?
Well, technically, no. It's in New York, so.
Yeah.
I will probably not be able to get my hands on it in a timely manner. I'm also not eligible to win.
Yeah, eligible, schmeligible.
You always strike on the fill ball after 5 consecutive 9 counts. 235 now at plus 28 is Birgit. $213 for Clara, but she's going to be at minus 44, so I need a big game and a lot of help.
All right, what do we got going on? Let's see. Once this, let me make it. Let's see. Let's check the others. Yeah, PWBA 1 is off to a very good start.
All right, let's make sure Danielle covers the single pin up, and we'll head over there.
Sure, and I'm going to look for so Zavala and Klimmer. Your top two are going to be finishing on the high side. Jordan Richard will finish on 7 and 8. Of course, she is part of the strike train that's happening right now. And then I'll start looking at players who are near the number. Jen Higgins is going to be on PWBA 4. Your Getz will be on the high side of the building. Dasha will also be over there. Liz Johnson is going to be on PWBA 3. Danielle is headed to the high side. Yeah, so we're going to have a few players around the number that are going to be on the other side of the building.
You weren't kidding about a lot of strikes over on lane 7 and 8. Currently 12 out of 13. But folks, we promised once we got into game 6, it was going to be giveaway time for a signed PWBA Bowl Fearless Visiball. We're going to get that giveaway started here in just a moment. This is your first time on Bowl TV. You'll find a prompt, a message in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. In just a moment, it will say, a giveaway will begin soon. Watch here to participate. It'll count down for 60 seconds. And then another prompt will show up that says, the giveaway has begun, and there will be a submit entry button. All you have to do is click on the submit entry button. You will have the opportunity to win. One lucky winner is going to be taking home this prize for this round. And if you are in full screen mode, we do suggest you take it out to make sure you can see the chat and the channel navigation and all that stuff. to be able to see the giveaway. But after Daria's spare attempt here, we will get it going, folks. So once again, look for the submit entry button. All you have to do is click and you'll be entered for the chance to win here on BullTV.com. Spare conversion. Giveaway started.
Daria's actually bowling on a pair, where her champions banner hangs. Not that she needs any additional motivation, but I think obviously the year and she's had, right? Obviously no tour, then having to essentially remain in Poland and then having the visa issues. It's her first opportunity, I would say, since being back to really give a run at a title.
Yeah, I believe the last top 10 for Daria was at the Players Championship in 2019 over in Raleigh, North Carolina. Just missed making the show there at the Major Championship.
Aaron, you probably will have scores pretty soon as I have them, but I'm going to wait till the giveaway is complete. I will tell you the number right now is plus 61 to get to the top 12, and I'll
jumped.
Read the answers here.
21 pin jump.
Have the name in just a second. There's also now some sizable, or I should say again, a sizable lead in regards to the race for the top seed. Still in favor of Stephanie Zavala. Whoa.
All right, congratulations to Lance for winning the PWBA Visible that looks like it'll be signed by Stephanie Zavala. So Lance, our marketing team, will be reaching out to you in the next couple of days to secure that delivery for you. Congratulations, and thank you to everybody for participating and being part of the Bull TV community here at the PWBA BVL Open.
Oh, make it. Hey, Sayo. Hope all is well. I need to talk to you anyway. I'll send y'all a message. All right, so scores. Congrats, Lance, by the way. That's a pretty cool item you'll have in your humble abode or your home office or your garage or wherever you may have things. Okay. Stephanie Zavala, plus 421 is your leader. She remains your leader. 421. And now with a few pins to work with for the top seed, as Brianna Clemmer second at plus 331. Plus 331. Jordan Richard can make a run here for second at very minimum heading into this afternoon's round. She's at plus 277, but obviously you can see the pace she's on, minus that 710 there. Shannon O'Keefe fourth at plus 150. Liz Culkin is fifth at plus 128. Verity Crawley is sixth at plus 125. Dasha Kovalova is seventh at plus 103. Taylor Boltice is eighth at plus 93. Lindsey Boomershine ninth at plus 81. Daria Payok is 10th at plus 68. Summer Jasmine is 11th at plus 62. And right now, 12th, the cut, is Danielle McEwen at plus 61. Just outside that number, Josie Barnes, 13th at plus 58. You're going to get Norwikes, 14th at plus 28. Julia Bond is 15th at plus 7. Verity is on PWBA 2. Jen Higgins, 16th at plus 5. Liz Johnson is 17th at minus 11. Stephanie Johnson is 18th at minus 29. Liz Johnson is on PWBA 3. Jen Higgins is on PWBA 4. And then Boomershine, Crawley, Taylor Boltice on PWBA 2. Of course, Jordan Richard, who you're watching now with commentary here, but is on the PWBA 1 channel specifically. Summer Jasmine also on PWBA 3. So we've got, again, Summer, Daria, Lindsay, Taylor, Verity, Liz Johnson, Jen Higgins, and I feel like Stephanie Johnson was around. Maybe, yes, Stephanie Johnson as well. All in possible positions to either stay in or make the cut. Then they're all on camera. By the way, the next round begins at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So a couple of opens this game for Jay Rich, and that now just their max score at 211. But Daria Payok right now in 10th, just 7 pins inside the number and just 10 pins out of 13. Could use a very nice 230 game. That's a huge break there. I think if Daria marks here in the 10th frame, she'll be all right. The good news is for the round of 12, every player in that round will be on camera. Wow. Breaking news, Aaron Smith.
Let's go.
Brianna Klemmer has shot 148 in Game 6.
Wow.
That's going to be obviously more than enough to drop out of second. Jordan Richards going to be second. I don't know if it's going to be enough to, depending on what Shannon O'Keefe shoots, obviously. Small little shake-up or hiccup, if you will.
Jordan still needs his first hit in the 10th to get to second overall, but you mentioned Daria needing this mark 3-6-10 to get into the two teens and get to the plus 80 range.
I think that would guarantee it. She still might be in good shape, but
204 plus 72, Daria in the books. Actually, looks like Jordan needs a double in the 10th here to take over second after Klemmer's 148. Ring 10 max for Jordan now, 191. Emil, what do we have coming up next?
well, I think Verity, let's go to 2.
2, all right.
Yes. Let's catch the final few shots here of Verity Crawley.
It's a number, Verity. In the 240s already, looking to, or 250s, excuse me. Oh, with good count, but chance at 262. Can get her to plus 187 from way downtown. And with the way this number has fluctuated, this is a very big 10th frame here for Taylor Boltice.
Couldn't agree more. Oh, boy.
Came in at plus 93. Now staring down the washout.
This is a must-have. And even then, that's 37 pins.
That's plus 56. Faraday finishes off the 262. It's gonna have a chance. Nice cover there, Taylor. Gonna have to play the waiting game though. It's gonna be good news for Daria. She's gonna move up a spot. So going ahead of her Weber International collegiate teammate here. And the waiting game looming now for Taylor. Liz Culkin a chance to finish the day with 245. She's been pretty steady today. After a 235, 179 start, 212, 195, 204. 162 for Taylor, so she's going to have to play the waiting game now. See if that number potentially drops a pin or two in the final game.
All right, so after that shot from Culkin, the spare strike should be at 224. But the way Shannon O'Keefe is going at the moment, Shannon may remain in front of Liz Culkin. And, of course, with the Brianna Clemmer news, possibility that Shannon may be in the top three.
It's looking like Josie Barnes, and we can head over there next. Culkin is going to be in the 220s. But Josie Barnes has a max of 187. She was the first player out heading into this game at plus 58. So that is good news for Taylor Boltice. Jen Higgins has a max of 213. She was at plus 5, so probably not going to be enough there.
Well, Summer may sneak in there potentially, but you saw the frustration there from Josie.
I believe these are our final few shots on the low end of the house. Mentioned the big jump for Verdi Crawley to plus 187. Shannon can shoot 237, which would also put her at plus 187. So potentially a tie for fourth place here, with 6 games remaining. Starting up that next round, that final round before we get to the stepladder, starting up in about 100 minutes, 2:30 p.m. Eastern.
For those asking about Danielle, Danielle is on the high side of the building. Curtis went to go double check on her score.
So it looks like our top 4 heading into, and we don't have all reports yet from some of the other scores here, but looks like the top 4 will be Zavala, Clemmer, Richard, and Crawley, with Shannon O'Keefe 10 pins back of Crawley for the 4th spot. Unofficial.
What did Jordan shoot? Don't have her score.
Her max was 191.
Yep.
So the top 3 still have some room to work with heading into these final 6 games, but that 4th spot up for grabs for a couple players. But now the waiting game to see our top 12 advancing to the next round here on Bowl TV. Some questions in the chat about cashing, and all players who advanced to this round this morning did receive a check, so you had to make the first cut to be considered a casher here in the standard tour event. And correct, one more round to go before we get to the stepladder finals. So another 6-game block coming up, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here on bowltv.com. We will have all competitors available to view. Everyone will be on the low end of the house. And one more opportunity for this 40-foot condition being used this week.
Thanks, Jim. Hey, how are you?
So I think Danielle is in. Still awaiting that final. So right now, Aaron, it looks like Summer might be the number. At the same time, we're also going to try to have Shannon O'Keefe join us for a few minutes.
All righty, sounds good. Let's what do we want to do here, Emil? Do we want to take it into us?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Hey, look at that guy. Here we are.
What's going on?
Not much. All right, folks. This is the moment of truth for the top 12. We are awaiting the cut score to see who will advance to the next round here at the PWBA BVL Open, taking place at Farmingdale Lanes in Farmingdale, New York. I'm Aaron Smith alongside Emil Williams Jr. and Curtis Von Kruger. Scores are being verified. 6 games are in the books. Definitely on the low end. Presumably the high end as well.
Unofficially, Danielle has shot 190. Unofficially, that would put her to plus 51. Unofficially. So, again, Zavala, Clemmer, Richard, O'Keefe, Colkin, Crawley, Kovalova, and then it gets a little funky. What did Taylor finish with?
Taylor was 162 that game. So she dropped into the plus 50 range.
Well, if she's higher than 51, she might be okay.
All right, looks like we're going to have Shannon joining us here in just a moment. Looks like she's just about ready. We're getting some quick camera adjustments. So let's bring Shannon O'Keefe into the show here.
It might get
I got friends.
The cameo by Taylor Boltice.
Yeah.
Hi, Shannon. How are you doing today?
I'm really good. How are you?
Doing well. It looked like you liked what you saw out there today. Talk us through the 6-game block.
Yeah, well, they just didn't break it down as much. Not as many people played left as quick. And so for me, the transition was really easy. I was just making parallels left the whole time, just trying to keep the ball in front of me. And for me, the key was just be softer, speed and softer with my hand through the bottom. Anytime I got a little quick, I wrapped end, or like yesterday, it was quick with my hand, but also quick from the top. And that never goes well. So those balls were shooting right, or I was, trying to recover and grab them at the bottom. And so it was just not as good execution yesterday. Today was much better. So
I noticed the bowling ball that you were throwing today that I feel like you had a lot of success with previously, and I believe it was a Rodman Pearl.
yes,
Did you throw it at all yesterday?
I did.
Okay. Did you?
Yeah.
Similar?
I started with my GB2, which is another one that, one of my faves. And yesterday I threw my GB2, and then it just got really lazy down lane. And so in years past, my progression was always go to a Rodman Pearl because it has a bigger differential and a little bit bigger core. And so I still felt like I needed that for the ball to get through the middle part of the lane. And then when I flipped sides over here, it wasn't quite right. And so I felt like I needed a ball back up, and I went back to my GB2, and it wasn't quite right. It was too much surface. So I felt like I was missing a ball in there. So we actually drilled a pin down Rodman Pearl to kind of fill that gap today and put a little bit of surface on it, and it fit in there perfectly for what I needed to see.
Shannon, we had a little fun in the chat. We had some familiar folks chiming in. You had a very interesting clean 188 game in there.
Oh my Lord, yes.
And the conversation in the chat was, when was the last time you actually fouled on a shot? So we had your dad chime in and say 1998. And we had Brian chime in and say 2001. So for clarification, if you know.
I don't know when. I feel like I foul in practice sometimes, but that's practice. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like I felt like I kind of like turned my foot, and then when I turned my foot, I must have just been closer than I've been all day. I'm not really sure what happened, but I looked down and was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, come on!" When our kids foul at McKendree, there's nothing that frustrates Brian and I more than fouling, because you get zero. At least if you throw a bad shot, you're going to hit pins, but bad shot, it's zero, and that was a good shot too. So a little frustrated, but that's okay. 180 is not gonna kill you. When I didn't really look around too much today, but it didn't feel like scores were outrageous.
I don't think so, and that was an interesting 180 with a lot of 9 spares, which was even crazier.
Yeah.
And final question: you've had you allowed us into your or a day of yours at the Queens.
Yeah.
Of course, that video dropped this week, and it was well done. Thank you for being open in that regard. Weird question, but did you learn anything by participating in something like that and being able to kind of share really what a day is like, especially during a tournament week for you?
Yeah, for sure. That was probably the worst 3 games I've truly bowled in a row in the last 3 years on tour. And my emotions definitely got a hold of me for a while. I was really mad after the the first 160, which carried into the 130, which was just a disaster. It's like everything I tried, I was shots behind, and my brain was going a million miles an hour. And so I just needed to stop, take a step back, slow things down, and just kind of think about, like, gosh, if my girls were bowling, how would I be helping them right now? But I was really struggling in that moment to do that. And I haven't struggled like that in a long time mentally. I've worked really hard on my mental toughness, and I feel like it's been the thing that's kind of catapulted me. And so going back to that space was such an awful feeling. I'm on a mission to read a mental toughness book, one every 2 weeks for the whole year. I just finished my 3rd book, and I'm starting my 4th book probably tonight in the hotel room. So, just trying to get back on track after that. But yeah, I just need to be grateful for the opportunities and not be so upset when things don't go well, because it can snowball so fast.
Excellent. Excellent. School is reading off the number as we speak. And it is Summer Jasmine at plus 43.
Woo!
So, congratulations on a fine block, Shannon. We'll see
Thank you.
in just a few minutes.
Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully everybody can send me some more strikes. That'd be nice. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Shannon.
All right, that is Shannon O'Keefe. Thank you, and a very nice block overall. Aaron, what are you thinking here?
Plus 43. All right. So we had the full range of ups and downs with that cut number over the course of the day. It jumped, it rose, it slowed down for a second, and then dropped in the final game. So would be curious if we had have you had a final 12 delivered to you just yet, or?
Yes. And
all right, let's read them off. Let's see who's all in it.
By the way, Evan, she had already left out. Speaking of Verity, so she was not in the building. Sorry. So Stephanie Zavala first at plus 385. Brianna Clemmer does remain in second place, as you talked about, plus 279. Jordan Richard plus to 268 in third. And those two numbers are scores that either one of those players may have shot actually as individual games this season. Verity Crawley is fourth, plus 187. Shannon O'Keefe is fifth at plus 177. Liz Colkin is sixth at plus 152. Dasha Kovalova is seventh at plus 113. Lindsay Boomershine is eighth at plus 91. Daria Payok is ninth at plus 72. Taylor Boltice 10th at plus 55. The 10th frame there does not hurt. In the long run, Danielle McEwen actually moved up a spot by shooting 190 at plus 51. And Summer Jasmine. Summer Jasmine is 12th at plus 43. Josie Barnes came into the last game in the 13th, finishes the tournament in 13th at plus 35. Birgit Norwich just misses as well at plus 30. And Julia Bond, the final player plus there at plus 7 in 15th place.
So after a lot of potential excitement down the stretch, the top 12 remained the same, headed into the final game. As it ended up, they switched a couple spots around there, but the number did jump. There it is. Let's bring in Curtis as well for some final thoughts here, heading into the round of 12, coming up at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Curtis.
Hey, it looked like there was going to be some excitement there heading into the 10th frame. But Danielle McEwen got it done, kind of swished out a 2-pin early, and really stayed into that urethane the entire block, just playing the corner and really trying to. She had to execute in order to get it to the pocket. But she did a great job. She scrapped it out and obviously passes up Summer Jasmine. So I look for this next block to really obviously much more of an elite field now. You got a lot of really solid players. But I think it's anybody's game. I think, some people can really get lined up. I think Dasha looks really good right now. She executed really well throughout the day. Verity, who, off air was my pick for this tournament because I liked her role on this condition. I'm going to continue saying that she, I really feel like she can make a maintain her position here coming into the last game. But I think it's going to be an exciting one. I think Bowl TV will be a very exciting place to be here starting 2:30.
I think you can say it better than what you just said, my man. So appreciate all of your hard work and your updates today, especially covering things on the high side. We won't have to worry about that for the round of 12. Everything will be in front of us. So you can take your Fitbit off. You won't have that many steps to walk. But we will see you at 2:30, my man.
Thank you.
All right, Aaron. Take us home, brother.
All right, folks. Thank you again for joining us here on Bowl TV for the PWBA BVL Open from Farmingdale Lanes in Farmingdale, New York on Long Island. We are going to sign off right now. We got about 90 minutes or so until the next round, the round of 12. Coming up next here on Bowl TV at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. But of course, we have a lot of people to thank for this broadcast, for this event, for everything. So a big thank you to the USBC and BPAA. And of course, their board of directors as well. We got let's go. Yeah, Lance is taking that home. Going to be signed by Stephanie Zavala as well. Of course, the Kegel, our official lane maintenance provider here on the PWBA tour. We have, of course, our competitors this week. A big thank you to them for the hard work, the effort, the dedication to the sport to bring this great action to watch day in and day out on the PWBA tour. This is really tough with you doing that. Of course, the Bowl TV community. Thank you for the questions throughout the course of the competition, for being a part of this and making this fun for us along the way as well. So we hope to see you in just a little bit as well as we continue on, and eventually making it to the stepladder finals tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And of course, the staff on site at Farmingdale Lanes, the Laspina family, BVL, Tennille, Kathy, and Caitlin as well for their hard work this week. For the Bowl TV crew, Emil Williams Jr., Curtis Von Kruger, I'm Aaron Smith. We're signing off from the BVL Open. We'll be back at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. And folks, remember, on Bowl TV, bowling lives here. We'll see you soon.